This is Bobby C, and we begin our look at sports with the Bronx Bombers, who are off to London. They close out the homestand here in the Bronx, 9-1. Gleyber Torres, the hero, this afternoon.
The same approach. I mean, the same plan every at bat. Basically, I just try to help my team to win for sure, and just looking for a really good pitch I can hit and try to put the ball in play.
It's great to watch this offense. You know, these guys are swinging the bats extremely well. We feel like we're going to score a bunch of runs every day, no matter who's out there facing us. You know, we're extremely confident right now. Those guys are playing great baseball. I'm going to work to join them and try to, you know, help us win, do my part.
You know, we won the first two of this series. We really wanted to come out and play well. You know, especially against, like you said, against another team in our division. So, yeah, you know, it doesn't really matter who we're playing. I feel like we have a really good team, and just you know, keep it rolling.
It's huge. You know, it's been our mindset all year. It's just, you know, dominate every series, win every game, and you know, we got the clubs to do that. And you know, now we get ready. You know, we got 2 off days going into, you know, this big London series, and I know the boys are excited. So, you know, we just can't wait to get over there.
That kid is 22. Incredible. Gleyber Torres lying that game-winning single in the 9th inning, and the New York Yankees hit 2 more homers to beat the Toronto Blue Jays 8-7 Wednesday. Didi Gregorius and DJ LeMahieu connected as the Pinstripers extended their major league record to 29 straight games with a long ball. The AL East leaders overcame 2 homers and an early 5-0 deficit to finish a power-packed 9-1 homestand. Afterward, they went from Yankee Stadium to England, where they are enjoying 2 days off before playing the Boston Red Sox at London Stadium on Saturday and Sunday in the first major league games in Europe. While the Yanks are exploring London, the Mets are living Groundhog Day. This was pretty wild. The Philadelphia Phillies entered the week having lost 7 in a row. They had led the NL East most of the season, but fell to 6.5 games back of the Atlanta Braves. They won the first 3 games of the series this week against the scuffling New York Mets and were poised to sweep with a 1-0 victory. Instead, Todd Frazier came through with a 3-run bomb for the Amazons. It looked like the Mets would avoid the sweep, but in shocking fashion, enter closer Edwin Diaz. He had only worked twice since June 15th, but one of those outings came on Wednesday, and he was excellent. Thursday, the exact opposite, a 2-run bomb to tie it and a walk-off later, and the Mets had lost again, 6-3 final. On a lighter note, the Amazons are home this weekend and will honor the 50th anniversary of the 1969 World Series team. The Mets also renamed the street in front of Citi Field in honor of former ace Tom Seaver and announced plans to erect a statue of the Hall of Fame right-hander outside the stadium. The team made the announcement that 126th Street would be renamed Seaver Way on Thursday. The address of Citi Field is now 41 Seaver Way. Seaver wore number 41 during his incredible career. NBA free agency begins next week. Chapters will close and others will open. With Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson set to be free agents, we may have witnessed the end of one of the greatest chapters in NBA history. All signs still pointing to KD and Kyrie Irving heading to the Brooklyn Nets. Meanwhile, the Bronx-born star Kemba Walker appears poised to spurn the New York Knicks as well. The Boston Celtics are expected to make the All-Star guard a 4-year, $141 million contract offer when free agency opens Sunday. Walker, who spent his first 8 seasons in the league with the Charlotte Hornets, is expected to accept that offer. Just 2 weeks ago, Walker said he would take less than the 5-year, $221 million Supermax contract. Only the Hornets could offer him to stay in Charlotte. The 29-year-old UConn product averaged 25.6 points and 5.9 assists while starting all 82 games for the Hornets last season. Those numbers are above his 8-year career averages of 19.8 and 5.5. The Knicks will reportedly roll over their cap space if they don't sign one of the major stars this summer. Of course, New York must still field a team. After 6 straight losing seasons, including a franchise-worst 17-65 this past season, the Knicks might even want to be somewhat competitive, right? A candidate to fill the roster, Golden State's DeMarcus Cousins. Knicks settle for Cousins. Oh boy. The Los Angeles Lakers have maneuvered to create a maximum salary slot of $32 million in free agency. League sources have told ESPN the team unloaded 3 contracts to the Washington Wizards to make the Anthony Davis deal with New Orleans a 3-team trade. Davis also got his first assist from LeBron James. James is giving up his number 23 to his new Lakers teammate. Davis has worn number 23 for 7 years as a member of the Pelicans. A source close to James said they believe the Lakers star will go back to number 6, which he previously wore with the Miami Heat. He wore number 23 during both of his stints with the Cleveland Cavaliers and last year in Los Angeles. Time for some quick hitters from around the world of sports. Tennis fans are gearing up for Wimbledon. You know the names, but age, of course, is creeping up. Age creeping up. Federer and Nadal have squared off 39 times, and Federer and Djokovic 47, while Djokovic and Nadal's 54-match rivalry is the most prolific and competitive in the history of tennis. Compelling and addictive as those are, those hooked by them with each passing episode, the end might be moving a little closer. In the case of the big three, now age 37, 33, and 32 respectively, it could be argued that they have already exhausted the narrative, claiming 53 Grand Slams between them since 2003. They have won 15 of the last 18 Grand Slam titles and all of the last 10. This could be the last year with a new crop of youngsters emerging. Speaking of emerging, Vanderbilt is national champion for the second time in 6 years. Vandy rebounded from a loss in Game 1 of the College Baseball World Series. The Commodores closed out Michigan 8-2 for a 3-game finals win over the Wolverines. Mason Hickman shined for Vandy on the mound with 6 one-run, 10 strikeout innings. He became the 9th pitcher ever and second straight to reach double-digit strikeouts in a College World Series finals game. Vanderbilt won the decisive Game 3 on Wednesday night to win the College World Series. Surprisingly, the 10 combined runs made the highest scoring College World Series clinching game since 2009 when LSU beat Texas 11-4. Amid a severe heat wave in France, the reigning champs face the hosts in Paris with everything on the line. It will be close to 97 degrees today in Paris as France swelters in a severe, unexpected heat wave. The U.S. women's national team will also be feeling the heat at 3 p.m. as they face the much fancied tournament hosts in a mouth-watering World Cup quarterfinal. On the baseball diamond, the Yanks got Giancarlo Stanton back only to lose him again. He exited Tuesday's game against the Toronto Blue Jays after suffering a knee injury. At first, the Yankees said he was day-to-day, and then there was no new injury. Wednesday, however, it was revealed that he had sprained his posterior collateral ligament. Doesn't sound good. The Yankees placed him on the injured list a mere 6 games after he came off of it. Yesterday, Brian Cashman got to London and talked about Stanton's prognosis. He said an August return was likely. You may not see Stanton for a while, but the Bronx Bomber faithful will get plenty of 2 of their stars on the national stage. With 6 players among the finalists to be named starters in the upcoming All-Star game in Cleveland, the Yankees locked down 2 spots in the American League lineup, with catcher Gary Sanchez and second baseman DJ LeMahieu earning the honors. The full rosters will be revealed Sunday. The Houston Astros led the way in the AL with 3 starters in the game. It is nearly impossible to imagine an ESPN without Bob Lee. Not Bronxnet's Bob Lee, ESPN's Bob Lee. His first day of work was on the network's first weekend in 1979. But starting next week, ESPN will have to learn how to do without the man Chris Berman once called our conscience. The 64-year-old announced Wednesday that he will retire at the end of the month. Living legend signing off. We hit the C-list for some NBA free agency predictions. Association free agency opens at 6 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday. With more than half the league hitting the market and a wealth of teams holding salary cap space, including both franchises in LA and New York, it should be a wild one to say the least. However, there's part of me that thinks it's possible that it won't be as wild as advertised. Sometimes that ends up being the story. And it's just been so hyped. Teams cannot actually sign players until July 6th at 11 a.m. when the league lifts its moratorium, but they can make handshake agreements in the meantime. Then it's just a matter of holding that handshake until pen hits paper. Top 5 free agents in my book are Kawhi Leonard, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Jimmy Butler, and of course the Bronx boy, Kemba Walker. I think KD and Klay Thompson could easily return to Golden State. I firmly believe Leonard goes back to Toronto on a shorter deal, chasing another crown in Canada. If that's the case, then Irving and Butler and Walker headline the next crop of most notables. I think Butler could be moved to Houston. I could also see Kemba going to Boston if Irving bolts for the Nets or the Knicks. That allows the Nets to keep D'Angelo Russell. The irony here very well could be the injury to KD in the finals, because that injury clearly could have paved a way for him to remain with the Warriors. It also allowed Toronto to win the finals, which may allow him to stay, Kawhi Leonard, in the North, despite taking a look at the LA Clippers and supposedly the LA Lakers. I think it all comes down to Durant and Leonard. Their next moves will likely dictate the ensuing moves in NBA free agency. Hold on to your seats. Could be like watching the Mets bullpen in the 8th and 9th innings. That's your sports. I'm Bobby C. More open back after this.